This computer. All right. So good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody from the different time zones. Welcome all to this Motivate and Influence Your Way to Success workshop, where you will learn and be inspired by excellent leaders of our Toastmasters community from across the world, on how you can become an effective communicator and leader by embracing opportunities. That is right here at Toastmasters. Yes, right here at Toastmasters to help you grow those skills as a club coach or mentor. Our format for this evening is that we will have three members, David, Templeman, Patrick, Oye, and Marenka Karani, that will start off sharing their coaching experience. Then Rita and Janet will be sharing the responsibilities of mentors and coaches and the resources and support that they would receive to become successful. So let's get started. So David Templeman has joined Toastmasters in 1995, looking to enhance his communication skills in order to further a sales training career. He has won the District 72 evaluation contest as well as the International Speech Contest, and has competed in the World Championship of Public Speaking in 2004. He is married to Selena, who is a past District 72 director. Between them, they have 4 teenage boys ranging from 13 to 20, and a staff to manage their expanding horticulture experience. Although David is a born leader and has taken on plenty of leadership roles, it was not until he was area governor back in 2012 that he discovered that the leadership side of Toastmasters was about the opportunity to give something back to the organization. So this began his journey of self-discovery, where he learned that the more you give, the more you get. So following a rapid rise through the various roles, in August 2018, he was elected to the Toastmasters International Board of Directors. So David's view on leadership is, it's great to have the ability, but real leadership is the ability to foster and develop the potential in others. So please welcome David Templeman, DTM. David, you have 4 minutes.
Thank you, Angela. And good morning, good evening, or good afternoon, wherever you are. So club coaching has been the highlight of my career. And that's even how I came to be on this, because when I was interviewed recently, I was asked, what is your most memorable role? And club coaching was the answer, because it is. I've done it 4 times. And it's been a thoroughly enjoyable challenge, although I'd have to say each one has been different. So in my 4 minutes, I'd like to talk about 2 different scenarios. The first one was one that I came across when I was a division governor, and we had a club that had been struggling for years. It had club coaches that tried and failed. And we're at the stage where, unless this club really changed, because I've been stuck at 6 for a long time, we really needed to move them on or replace them is the best way. So I came along into this club as a club coach. Although firstly, I went along as a guest because I wanted to see if the fit was right, because I think that's important, because I wanted to understand the people, understand whether they wanted to be helped, and just to observe. So the first thing I did when I went there was to have my own mini moments of truth. I sat there with a wee form and I filled it all out because I wanted to make some impressions for myself. And I did become a club coach there. And now that club was quite easy to fix, because one, as I said, they wanted to change. But there were some obvious problems with that club. One, the first time I went across there, you didn't really need to worry about facial expressions because the room was so dark, you could hardly see the people. And the venue did not want to change. They weren't willing to change light bulbs. And it was just a really poor venue. But did that mean they wanted to change? No. And that seems odd. But this club, because Christchurch, New Zealand, had been through earthquakes and they had lost their venue twice, and they were really hesitant about giving up this venue. So we found this really nice new venue for them, but they still didn't want to change. And so in the end, we came to a compromise. We'll keep your venue, we'll keep paying for this next week's rent, but we'll go somewhere else and try it. And so even in there, even though we had this wonderful brand new venue for them to go to, they still were hesitant to change, which seems rather odd. So anyway, they went to a new location, they enjoyed the experience there, and they've been there ever since. And that club within 6 months got up to 36 members. It was close to a university and they just thrived. I will say the rapid growth brought in new problems though, and that is because there were only at that stage probably 2 experienced members. Who gives the evaluations? Because otherwise the new people were learning off other new members. So as a result, even though it was successful so quickly, we had to bring in a whole lot of other people from other clubs to help with the evaluations for the first 6 months, just till we could bring the standard of the evaluations up. Because if those evaluations in a club are not good enough, even if we were getting good new members, they would leave. So it was important to say, even though it grew quickly, that we brought in others to support. So that was the easy one. Liffey Toastmasters Club was not so easy. That was a club that when I went in there, it just had a lot wrong with it, and their evaluations and their quality of their speeches were terrible. And so for a start, we didn't do anything. We didn't invite any guests for the first 6 months because we only get one shot at a guest, and we knew that unless we improved the quality, guests would come in, they'd go, yuck, we're not joining this, and I'd walk away. So we just spent the first 6 months working internally, fixing the speeches, fixing the evaluations. So the product, which is the club meeting, was outstanding. And so that one took 2 years till that club got to 25 in the end. But it took a long time, mainly because at the start, we weren't trying to get the guests in. We were working on the quality. And I think all of us want to be part of a quality club. And clubs that need coaches, often their quality, their standards have slipped. So there were 2 different examples, but both thoroughly enjoyable. And I guess what I learned out of all of this, though, is that as a coach, it is not up to us to do the work. It is up to us to help change a culture. And to change a culture, we need to empower the members of the committee, the club members, to change their clubs themselves. And that is how they will go forward. So thank you, Angela.
Thank you, David, for your words of wisdom. Effective evaluation, fixing the club quality, help change the club culture by empowering. All very wise words. Okay, so our next presenter, Patrick Owie, DTM, is the keynote speaker, trainer, coach, management consultant, and serial entrepreneur, and holds an MBA. He has held various Toastmasters club officer roles as well as district roles, and was rewarded with the District 51 Toastmasters of the Year in 1998 to 99. Patrick was also a professional member of the Asian Professional Speakers of Singapore and served on the TI Board of Directors in 2014 to 2016. Please welcome Patrick Owie.
Good evening, good morning to my friends from all over the world. I'm glad to be here. My mantra is always, where Toastmasters is concerned, is, and also in my professional life, is concentrate on quality. Quantity will follow. And I'm glad David shared what he shared, because it syncs with what I'm going to say. In any Toastmasters club, when we concentrate on quality, people will flock and join, given the right positive environment. So we need to bring in the same mindset to clubs. Unfortunately, many clubs struggle because people, the leaders, are not concentrating on quality. Ensure that every meeting is that of a quality club. The speeches are well written, well rehearsed. I once, when I was quite a new Toastmaster, a 2-year-old Toastmaster, I have this Italian guy who joined our club. He speaks well. He's now a professional speaker. He came up for a prepared speech and he said, "I'm sorry I didn't prepare." And he gave a pretty good speech with good theatrics. My evaluation was only 30 seconds. I said, Arthur, that was a pretty good speech, but because this is a prepared speech, you need to prepare. And because you admitted to everyone you didn't prepare, I would invite you to redo the speech and prepare one and represent the speech. I sat down. I got a rousing standing ovation because we want to ensure that members are prepared. At one time, I used to help a Toastmasters club in Johor Bahru. Johor Bahru is just up north of Singapore. It's part of Malaysia. It's like our Mexico. Sorry, Patricia, I know you're from there. Welcome, you just came in. So a lot of their members can't, grammatically, they are always not so good. But what I like about this club is that every member will write the speech, especially the first 4 or 5 speeches. They will write their speech, send it to their mentors. The mentors will correct the grammar, send it back, and then they change a little bit here and there. And they will arrange to meet the mentor in person. And I happen to be witness to 1 or 2 of these practices. And I can tell you, when you hear them speak at table topics, and when they present their project, 1, 2, 3 speeches, you see a different person altogether. They were so good. You can't believe that this is a person at table topics with so much grammatical errors. When they present their prepared speech, they were top notch. Why? Because they prepare, they get it vetted, they get it corrected, and they practice, practice, practice in front of their mentors and other mentors who can make it for that session, and they become really, really good. So my take is we need to imbue that value of preparation, that value of quality, that whatever we do, let it be good, better, best. Let our good be better, let our better be best. Don't let it slip off our grip.
Thank you, Patrick. Words of wisdom. Yes, concentrate on quality and the quantity will follow. Be prepared with the mentors and coaches. Meet in person. Help the person that you're mentoring. Very wise words. Okay, our next speaker is Marenka Karani Dtm. She has won local and national and international awards for performance excellence during her 20+ years in the executive search industry. In the words of her client, she specializes in recruiting top performers. Marenka has joined Toastmasters in 2002 and has become an effective communicator, a more effective communicator. She has taken various of club officers' role, presented workshop at district conferences and elsewhere, and has excelled in coaching a District 60 club to distinguished status. Not only distinguished for the first time, but president distinguished, a very hard club to get through, and she was able to do that. So please help me welcome Marenka Karani. Marenka, DTM.
Thanks very much, Angela, and all of you attending to this evening. Well, I'm going to tune in to that radio station WIIFY, which is What's in It for You. And that's going to be my approach in the next 4 minutes. What is in it for you to be a club coach? I really don't know. It's probably different for a lot of different people, but I can tell you that for me, it was a totally positive experience. And I can tell you what I learned and what possibly you could learn as well. There were 3 aspects in true Toastmasters fashion. I'm going to give you 3 aspects of how being a club coach promoted and helped me both professionally and personally. And the first way was what it taught me about leadership. I kind of thought that leadership was the old top-down approach. But as a result of my experience with Connaught Speakers Toastmasters, I learned the effectiveness of a bottom-up approach in leadership. And the bottom-up approach is when you really focus on the needs and aspirations of the people that you are serving. And I found that with the bottom-up approach, I could actually tap into a rich, ready-made resource of motivations, interests, and energy that was, as I just said, already there. I could tap into that and mobilize that energy, those motivations, those interests toward a common goal. So I learned that when you tap into the aspirations and visions, professional and personal, you can make magic happen. That's what I learned about leadership. What also I gained as a result of the coach experience is actually improvement in my own public speaking ability. And this was in two areas. One was content. And this is how it improved, it deepened my understanding of basic fundamentals speaking skills. What the aspirations and needs of the club was to accelerate their development in terms of learning the basics, the fundamentals of persuasion, the magic of storytelling, the basics in terms of content and structure, how to overcome anxiety, and how to practice for speech. Those were the needs as outlined by the members of this club. So what I did was I prepared 8 10-minute presentations in each of those areas. The result of speaking more regularly, the result of doing the research and pulling together all the resources I could to provide the best of the best information that I had and that I had learned over the years in those different areas, that truly deepened my understanding and my public speaking skills. Plus the experience of speaking to a totally different audience. The club was very different than my own. The careers were science and technology. There was much more emphasis on PowerPoints and a much more interactive expectation from the presentations. Finally, on a personal level, in terms of literally some joy and happiness that I experienced, was the opportunity to give back and the progress that I saw in that club, a struggling club with barely 5 or 6 people in attendance, to now a vibrant club, sometimes as many as 18 people in attendance, the improvement in the competency of the speakers, and the expressions of appreciation and gratitude that I have received over and time again. Truly a source of personal satisfaction to me. Back to you, Angela.
Thank you, Marenka, for your insight into your coaching. What's in it for you was also what's in it for the club that you have served so well. Bottom-up approach, serving the needs and aspirations of people, tapping into their vision, personal and professional, that's already there to make the magic happen. A great way to tell us what you did and the appreciation that you received from the club. So with that, we're going to go into the nuts and bolts of mentoring and club coaching. And then with that, we will have our first up will be our Rita. So Rita has been a Toastmasters, she mentioned, long before cell phones, internet, laptops, YouTube, Facebook. So from her perspective, that statement can only translate to 2 things. She's ancient, according to her children, or she's been in the Toastmasters community for far too long, for a long time. So Rita is one of the founding members of Ebony Toastmasters, which was chartered back in 2006. She sees herself as a forever learner who continually and relentlessly seeks out learning opportunities. Over the 5 years, Rita has been involved in District 60 in various leadership positions, and she has completed a 2 years tenure as our kickoff chair, which has contributed immensely to her stature as a leader and communicator. And presently, she is our club mentor, chair, and sponsor chair. With that, please, Rita, take it away and let us know what we can learn.
Thank you so much, Angela. You make me sound as if I'm a fossilized Toastmaster, but I will wear it proudly. Now, fellow Toastmasters, and I doubt that there are any guests in the room, there's a very helpful document that is available through Toastmasters International. And I feel certain that most of us have used it at some point in our Toastmasters journey. It's called "A Toastmaster Wears Many Hats." Tonight, I am tasked to chat about the many hats that a Toastmaster wears. I will begin, first of all, by stating that mentors in District 60 are assigned to every new club. And sometimes not just one mentor, but two mentors. And these mentors are usually experienced Toastmasters who remain in their mentoring position for a period of 6 months to a year. And usually we encourage them and invite them very strongly to stay for the year. To be really effective and to guide the new club with best practices for each meeting, mentors are invited very strongly. Sometimes we twist their arms to attend all meetings. Now, I believe very strongly that a new club mentor is a Toastmaster who begins the role with an open heart and an open mind. I also believe that that person has the capacity to share skills with humility. Now, in their role as a club mentor, as club mentors, individuals become guides by the sides of new clubs. Sometimes mentors join the club and actively participate in meetings. This is because, in many cases, the mentors are the only experienced Toastmaster in the group and can and often will demonstrate what a quality meeting looks like, sounds like, and feels like. Now, I believe that the North Star for mentors to focus on when they begin their tenure is sustainability. And I repeat that, sustainability. And as Toastmasters, experienced Toastmasters, you know exactly what I'm talking about. For me, that means that strategic pillars must be set in place from the inception. Now, ultimately, when the mentor walks away from mentoring a new club, he or she must be able to pat themselves on the back, not out of conceit, but with the assurance that the club is now in a place and at the stage where they could function independent of the mentors. Now, tonight, let me share with you 6 important points that I consider to be absolutely important elements that a mentor must set in place in order for new clubs to become robust and healthy in the long run. Now, let's start with number 1, Pathways. As we all know, Pathways is the Toastmasters educational program. Mentors need to introduce the new members to Pathways. Individuals and clubs need to be shown how to register and how to navigate their way through Pathways. Point number 2, something else that I see as a strong and necessary foundation piece are evaluations. If the mentor is confident, then that person can plan and facilitate those evaluation sessions, showing clubs how to evaluate a speech effectively, because most people can evaluate, but can they evaluate effectively? That is the question. Remember, though, that there are many individuals in the Toastmaster community, particularly District 60, who would be willing to facilitate a session on how to evaluate effectively. Now, let me tell you a very short story. 2 years ago, I was a kickoff chair for District 60. I invited a fairly young Toastmaster, but he was very good at speaking, to be the speaker. His evaluator, he did a marvelous job, I felt. His evaluator, however, who had been an experienced Toastmaster, was not very kind in the feedback that he offered. And that brings to mind something that I heard. It takes 11 positive statements to erase one negative statement. So we need to be particularly mindful of setting correct, effective evaluation place for new clubs. Next, very, very important to me, something that should be discussed right up front when a club is starting. Club officer training, COT as we fondly call it. As you all are aware, clubs thrive when officers are trained. Every member of a club executive needs to be trained on how to execute their respective roles effectively. As well, point number 4, early in the existence of the club, the success plan should be introduced and discussed. Because if members don't know where they're going to, how are they going to know how to get there? I believe, though, that if mentoring is effective, then all new clubs will ultimately aspire to becoming distinguished or select distinguished or presidents distinguished. With strategic planning at the beginning, at the inception, it is all possible. Point number 5. New club members need to be introduced to and familiarize themselves with the district website and with Toastmasters International site. On both of these sites will help members with valuable updates and relevant resources. And my last critical, very important point is for club mentors, they're to support the club when they're curating or designing their agendas. There is such a thing as Free Toast Host and Easy Speaks that are very, very good resources. So most of us join Toastmasters because we hope to improve our communication and leadership skills. There's no question that mentoring a new club will serve to sharpen and enhance leadership skills. After all, you're taking a brand new club and planning to take it to heights of success. You're composing speeches and delivering speeches will ultimately improve, I guarantee you that, because you're helping new members to tweak their speeches and to polish their delivery. What I'm saying then is that mentoring is a two-way street. I'm glad to tell you that there are numerous personal and professional benefits for the mentor. As an effective, and the key word here is effective mentor, you learn how to motivate others. You have an opportunity to expand your leadership skills. You have an opportunity to hone your facilitating and negotiating skills. You share your expertise. You then invest in the future of Toastmasters, and the ultimate caveat is you earn credit for your DTM, towards your DTM. I know that sounds like a lot. It certainly is. But it's a wonderfully rewarding and stretching leadership experience, I promise you. There's also a mentor chair, yours truly, who will admit that she doesn't have all of the answers, but she's willing to find them in order to help you to become successful. In addition, there are many, many, many experienced club mentors who are always available to support you in your role. And so before I end, let me put some icing on the cake for you. In case you were not aware of this, District 60 offers $50 gift certificate, Toastmasters gift certificate, to mentors and a water bottle to mentors who are able to bring their clubs to distinguished status by the end of their term. So in closing then, if I were to use a metaphor to capture the role of a club mentor, I would say that mentors can serve the purpose of training wheels for someone who's learning to ride a bicycle. As you know, training wheels are positioned at each side of the bike, and they help the person, and in this instance, the new club, to balance themselves and to get some equilibrium, so that they can manage and function independent of the mentor. Now, let me add here, and add most emphatically and most energetically and most enthusiastically, that the role of mentor is not to run the club. Instead, the new club mentor's role is to share the best practices of a quality club and to guide the club towards excellence. I yield the mic, Angela.
Thank you, Rita, for your words of wisdom as our club mentor chair. Recap, get mentors on pathways, effective evaluations, club officer training, strategic plan, let them know about the district website for critical information, support their agenda through 3 Toast Host or Easy Speak, learn to motivate, negotiation skills one will learn. It's not to run the club, but to share best practices and guide them towards excellence. Thank you for that. So our next and last presenter is distinguished Toastmasters. Janet Hiker has been a Toastmasters for 5 years. She is a certified world-class speaking coach and a member of Humber Shores Toastmasters and TGIF Advanced Toastmasters. She teaches the Toastmasters Youth Leadership Program for several years at a private school for girls in Toronto. So please welcome Janet Hiker, District 60 Club Coach Chair. Take it away, Janet, with your presentation of coaching.
Thank you very much, Angela. When you think of a great coach, what qualities come to mind? Positive, enthusiastic, trusting, focused. I think that a great coach is all of the above. But for me, the most important quality is a passion for helping others achieve success. When I was invited as a guest to Humber Shores Toastmasters Club 5 years ago, I had no idea where my Toastmasters journey would take me. But when I won the Table Topics ribbon that night for talking about French fries, I knew that Toastmasters would have a major influence on my life, and it indeed has. Becoming a leader, coach, motivator, and teacher has given me the opportunity to share my skills, and I want to have that same opportunity to share those with you tonight through becoming a club coach. Being a coach is not rocket science. Like I said, all you need is a passion for helping others to succeed. At the end of the day, we are all helping people to become better communicators and leaders, not only in Toastmasters, but in their everyday lives. So let's look at what a club coach is all about. First of all, what is a club coach? A club coach is an experienced Toastmaster who coaches a club to rebuild membership and restore the quality of the club and its club environment. The goal of a club coach is to assist the club to reach distinguished status. Okay, so how do we do that? By building rapport with the club leaders and the members, by instilling enthusiasm, camaraderie, and structure within that club. You need to assess the club environment and recommend the best practices for that club for success. Develop a club success program and encourage the club to strive for recognition in the Distinguished Club Program. What qualifications do you need to become a club coach? You need to be a passionate Toastmaster about Toastmasters. You cannot be a member of a struggling club if you choose to become a club coach. However, after that club has been appointed by TI and you've been approved, you can join that club if you so wish. Toastmasters who have completed at least one level of pathways will be given preference. You do have the option to attend a club meeting before you decide if that club is a good fit for you. What are the qualifications of a club requiring a coach? The club must have at least one, but not more than 12 members when the coach is assigned. And that club cannot have more than 2 club coaches. All right, so what's in it for you as a club coach? You get to develop your team building skills. You get to expand your leadership experience. You become a better facilitator and negotiator. You learn diplomatic skills. You get to share your own experiences with that club. You are investing in the future of the Toastmasters organization, and you will earn a credit towards your Distinguished Toastmasters Award. How does the club coach process work? The club coach has up to 2 years, starting with the year that you are assigned, to make the club distinguished. Once the club is distinguished, by the end of the Toastmasters year on June 30, you will have successfully completed your coaching responsibility. Currently, we are a couple of months into the new program year, and many of you have completed your club success plans and are beginning membership building efforts. For those clubs that need additional support, the Club Coach program offers the opportunity for experienced Toastmasters to assist clubs in achieving distinguished status. Currently, coaches who help clubs achieve distinguished status or better by June 30, 2022 will earn their Club Coach credit. The Toastmasters International Board of Directors recognizes the extra effort that coaches must put forward as the pandemic continues to impact club meetings and membership growth. To provide additional recognition for coaches for the 2021-22 program, effective July 1st, 2021, coaches can also earn district leader credit in addition to the club support credit if the club coach meets all of these following criteria. Number 1, help the club achieve distinguished or better status by June 30, 2022. Number 2, help the club reach a minimum of 20 members by June 30, 2022. And third, serve a minimum of 6 months in the club coaching role. This can help you fast track achieving your DTM by fulfilling the criteria to become a district officer. It would also allow you to compete in a district club contest. However, if you were a district officer, you are not allowed to compete. We hope these additional considerations assist you and your club members in achieving the program year objectives and cultivate communication and leadership skills. For any questions about this, please reach out to club and member support at clubcoach@toastmasters.org. Together with my colleague Rita here tonight, we were club kickoff chairs in the previous 2 terms, leading the first 3 meetings in a fledgling Toastmasters club. Fulfilling this role keeps you focused on the goals of the meeting and the next steps to be taken, progressively building on the successes of the previous meeting towards the goal of chartering. Being a club coach is exactly the same. Establishing the goal of becoming a distinguished club and moving forward with each meeting towards that goal. What assistance is available to you as a coach? Well, first of all, you have me. That's my role. I'm the club coach chair, and it is my responsibility to assist you as a club coach any way I can to help achieve your goals and the goals of the club towards distinguished status. Just know you're not alone. The District 60 website has a plethora of information you can download to assist you with your duties. There is the Club Coach Troubleshooting Guide. You can help conduct a Moments of Truth program so that you can see where the gaps need to be filled in your club. Ensure that all club officers are fully aware of their role by doing the following. Download the Club Leadership Handbook and make sure that every officer fully understands their role. Meet with the club officers as you see fit and attend their club executive meetings to educate them on the standards that they need to fulfill and provide them with the tools so that they can perform their duties to the absolute best of their ability. And as Rita mentioned earlier, make sure they attend club officer training. This is required twice a year. Round 1 is June to August. Round 2 is November to February. You can reach out to the area director and the division director for support if necessary. Your club can also participate in a new program called the Helping Hands, where a mentoring club from another club provides 4 members to assist in the first 4 meetings any way they can. They'll fulfill the roles. They will be an evaluator. They'll put in what's missing to help make that club successful. I'll put my information on the chat in case you'd like to explore this further. Another new initiative this year is the Vibrancy Program. This is a team of 4 members. Sorry, this is the Vibrancy team that will come and help you. Club coaching can be incredibly rewarding or terribly frustrating. It all depends on your attitude and the attitude of the members and the officers in the club. If you have officer support, you are well on your way to being successful. Remember, as you fulfill this very important role, becoming a club coach is so much more than getting your credit for your DTM. You never know where your participation will lead you. As a result of serving as a club coach, I was given the opportunity to lead the youth leadership program for 8 weeks at a private high school. That was 4 years ago. And they still call me back to come and teach this program to their grade 11 and 12 students. I'm not paid for this. I do it because I want to build future leaders and communicators at the age of 18. Don't you wish you had that training in high school? I know I did. I encourage you all to volunteer to be a club coach, and you face the rewards and challenges of your role. Please remember that above all else, it should be fun for you and your members. We learn when we have fun. I want to leave you with the words of my very favorite orator, Sir Winston Churchill. He said, "When you are going through hell, keep on going. Never, never, never give up." Back to you, Angela.
Thank you, Janet, for that comprehensive program of the support that people will get, the passion, the help, the rapport, developing club success, fast track to DTM, all that by being a club coach. So now we're on to the discussion panel, a session of our program. And with that, we would entertain questions from the audience, comments on directed to any of our experts here. So you can put that on the chat, or you can raise your hand, your virtual hand. Okay, I see Louise Bark. So Louise.
Yeah, mine's probably the age-old question that probably everyone encounters. What do you do when you offer a coach to a club and the club says, "No, I don't want it"? Any ideas?
Good. Does anyone want to answer that question?
Well, usually I've encountered some clubs who are like that. Usually is because they have some leaders that want to be so exclusive But you just wait for a term whereby you got leaders who are quite independent and they can make their own mind and ignore past leaders, and then you approach them again. You just have to leave them alone. And I want to share, when I was Division B governor many years ago at a club officers training or TLI, I told the clubs, I said, if you need help, just let me know. And there was this young president of a club. She raised her hands and she said, Patrick, what happens if we don't need any help? And if our goal is 0 DCP? Because this club it's a university alumni club. They always give the district's problem. So I said, then it's okay. We will concentrate on other clubs that need help. If your goal is 0 DCP, we'll leave you alone. It means you don't need help. And actually, it's true, they don't need help. It's just that they are so flabbergasted with district chasing them for DCPs and all that. And guess what? 8 months later, for the first time in like 10, 12 years, they were, I think, select or president's distinguished. They submitted all the educationals they have held back for the last 10 years because I didn't chase them. And I told the area director, governor, leave them alone. Spend your time on clubs that need help. They only submitted membership every term. And all the educationals they held back. So sometimes there are clubs who are like that. You just leave them alone, concentrate on those that need help.
Yeah, good point, Patrick. So sometimes clubs, you can bring a horse to water, but you can't force them to drink it.
Yep.
So it's just showing them the way. Like this club initially won 0 DCP, but by being select distinguished, that was no longer their goal of 0 DCP. They came around, they saw the light. So that's a good point. I guess another thing that might work is that if a club is too proud to have help, you can also tell them that not only are they being helped, but they're helping the club coach to achieve their DTM. So it's a win-win situation. Not only are they being helped, but they're helping someone else to achieve their goal to grow as a person with a club coach as well. So great point.
Another thing is usually these clubs don't have enough speakers or even external evaluators. So what you can do is you get good speakers, ask them, I have speakers who need to do projects and they don't have enough speaking slots at their club. So you got to put it that way and say, can you allow me to bring 2 speakers and maybe 2 evaluators to your club so that they can present at your club meeting. So that is another nice way to help the members see the light. So once you have these 2 speakers, or once you arrange 2 good speakers every meeting and 2 fantastic evaluators, hopefully they will see the light and hopefully they may ask for your help. I have had situations whereby I think just 3 weeks ago, one area director shared with me that she has this club who refused to talk to any of the previous area directors because they felt that the area directors were just too pushy. But they opened up to her, and the whole division council was very shocked that they invited her again and again. So I asked her, what do you do? She just said that, oh, I'm available for help. If you need help, just let me know. And maybe she's motherly, so she didn't push. So because of that, this club opened up to her.
I just added a little piece to that because there was a bit of a hook behind my question. And it was because Janet mentioned like 1 or 2 times, I think you could go if they're not accepting a coach at the beginning. And I actually stuck with a club for a month that was kind of like dicey about whether they wanted a coach. I said, look, you're not sure you want a coach? That's fine. How about I just come to a meeting and be an extra body at your meetings? And for about a month, I just went and You know, every time I went, I dropped a little tidbit of some of the ways I could help them, like draw new members or whatever. And at the end of the month, I just kind of said, you know, so have you given it thought again? Are you interested in the coach or not? And it actually worked. So there was a little bit of a hook behind my question, but that was because you'd mentioned, Janet, I think it was Janet, it said it about the 1 or 2 times. Sometimes that little extra can actually make a difference. So I just throw it out there and wonder what the others thought. Thanks.
I just wanted to put it out there that you do have the option for at least one visit, just so that people who want to be coaches know that they don't have to accept the position knowing absolutely nothing about the club. So yes, I agree. Your strategy is a great one. I applaud that.
Yep. Very good.
Yes. A good point here. You don't need to be presenting yourselves as a club coach to coach, because that could be intimidating. You know, you can help them by bringing in good speakers or speaking yourself, you know, being an evaluator for that club that needs help. They don't know what they don't know. So by showing them another way of how an excellent club meeting can run, then they can start to embrace what they can be, you know, by showing them that way, and to showing them what how a great club can be. Yeah, good points. Any other questions for our esteemed panel? Okay, so let me ask you.
Can I say something?
Oh, of course.
I'm glad that the board decided this time to change the club coach requirements. Previously, for the last 2-3 years, the club coach requirements in place of district officer appointments or service, it was as long as the club gets distinguished, they can earn credit for their DTM. I'm glad the board added the additional requirement that they must be 20 and above, or else it can be subject to gerrymandering in that sense, because to get 5 new members is quite easy. I'm glad the board did that this time.
Right. I think the board have listened to the wisdom of people like yourself and others, and see how they can tweak that to make it better. So David, I have a question for you, David Templeman. So, David, you mentioned that a club coach is your favorite Toastmaster role, and you have done that 4 times. Why? What is so intriguing about being a club coach that has become your favorite role in Toastmasters?
I guess it's because I like a challenge, but I like to see other people grow. And I guess that's the main part about it. This is coaching. It's not doing the work. And like even when I was a district director, I like to appoint club coaches out of the person's own city. So they had to coach. So they come in remotely, they coached, they went to executive meetings rather than attending, because that makes you coach. And I think we have a problem that too many club coaches think they have to come in and do all the work. And then when they leave, the club falls over. And so that's why I enjoy it. I like to help others. And so it's just, I suppose it's one-on-one mentoring with the members of the committee to helping them understand, see the potential that if they just try this. And I think where a lot of clubs, the potential for improvement is lost, is that too many clubs, you finish a meeting, you all go home or back to work. But I think, and I've always done it when I've been a club coach, there's always a 15-minute meeting afterwards for the committee where we have a debrief, what worked, what didn't work, what needs to be improved on. And we need to do that in every meeting, and that's how we improve. Because if you only look at these things when you have, say, a monthly committee meeting, an executive meeting, you've forgotten half of them. So I think it's important that straight after every club meeting where you're helping it, that you have that debrief, because that's how you improve quality, because over time you forget. And it's these small insidious things that cause a club to go downhill that you need to be aware of and stomp on them right now before they have a chance to flow on to other meetings. So that would be one of my bit of advice, is to have that debrief meeting after each meeting, and that's how we really improve. Thanks, Angela.
Okay, thanks, David. Yeah, for those words of wisdom on what it's in it for you as well, in helping the club to glow and to flourish, and that's very satisfying. So Michelle, you've raised your hand. Do you have a question, comment? So Michelle has been a very successful club coach as well. He has coached Schulich Toastmasters, a university club, to distinguished status, not only distinguished, but president distinguished status since the 20 years since it's chartered, for the very first time. So Michelle, your question or comment?
I was just going to ask a question because it's for the panelists today, but I feel like a lot of people will have this at the back of their mind, and that's why I want to ask this specific question. What was the most intimidating part about being a club coach, and how did you all overcome it?
Angela?
Yes, Marenka.
Yeah, I glad he asked that question, because I have to say I was rather intimidated in terms of accepting this role as club coach. And I'd like to make 2 points. One is that what the feedback that I received later was that I helped the club with the very basics. I mean, really the very basics. And the feedback was that emphasizing the importance of starting on time, finishing on time, populating the agenda toward the end of the meeting so that it starts filling up for the following meeting, ensuring that of course the roles are accounted for, that people understood the roles. That actually, when I went back to the president of the club and I said, well, what worked the best and what didn't work? Interestingly, she said that staying with the fundamentals, and then once the fundamentals in place, the success happened. And then I'd also like to say that you've learned over the course of your experience as a Toastmaster what worked for your club, so you can go in with confidence that you will recognize, as I think Janet pointed out, the gaps, the weaknesses in the club. And actually, I will make one other point, following up on what David said. It was interesting to me to have the president say one of the aspects that I appreciated the most was the debrief after the club meetings. And the debrief, exactly as David said, would be you kind of, debrief what worked, what didn't work. And she said in particular, it was the positive reinforcement and the excitement to see the progress, the meetings getting better and better, the speakers improving, the increased willingness to take on a role or to take on a speech. Thanks, Marshall. Back to you, Angela.
Yeah, thank you. So we've run overtime, 10 minutes overtime, because we were about 10 minutes late to start of this meeting. So are there any other comments? If you need to drop, please do. But before you do so, please fill in the survey that I have in the chat. And if you could fill that out, so I would love to hear your comments on this workshop meeting. That will be great. So before, okay, Michelle, did you have your hands up again? Do you have another question or comment?
Like no picture for the district website. Like there's so many people out here. It's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Thank you for putting this together, Angela. I'm sure it took a lot of time, effort, and commitment, which you have in spades, all three of them. But thanks on behalf of Toastmasters for putting this together.
Okay, so if there's no other questions or comments, I would love to thank, my guests, my esteemed guests, David Templeman, Patrick Bowie, Janet Hiker, and of course Rita Berg, and of course Marenka Karani, and all of you that are able to attend. So if I would encourage all of you to consider a club coach or a mentor role. There's a lot of great information here. If you want a copy of the script that Rita or Janet has put together, let me know. I will stop the recording and we'll place this on our channel. So with that, if you can fill in the survey and I'll stop the recording now and we would